This episode is brought to you by Elevate OS, the only all-in-one community operating system. Elevate OS transforms property management, combining resident engagement, reservations, rent payments, maintenance, and concierge services into a single super app. It also uniquely integrates access control, intercoms, package lockers, and thermostats, eliminating app fatigue and redefining modern apartment living. Visit elevateos.com/MMN for a free demo and see how they can help you level up your operations. Welcome to another episode of the Multifamily Collective. Today I wanted to talk about door-to-door trash services, and I want to leave all of the supplier partners unnamed in this particular video because I don't want to unfairly indict that industry or that category that serves the multifamily space, because I imagine that there are potentially some very good stories out there as it relates to the service. But my personal experience is that it isn't necessarily worth the rev share that you get from the service. And I think the punchline is, at the end of the day, those services are curating labor, and then they're managing that labor to do a service door to door, picking up trash. And there are a number of variables in that scenario or that workflow that are somewhat uncontrollable, very hard to control. Let's put it that way. Residents setting the trash out on the day that it's supposed to be set out and not setting it out on days that it's not supposed to be set out. And then the labor that is tasked with coming by and picking the trash up, making sure that they do it in a way that doesn't leave drip streams in our breezeways or internal corridors, doing it in a way that is clean and efficient and effective. Those days where labor is short in those areas, it just seems like a lot to manage from a multifamily perspective. Our team members, I think about supplier partners in this context. Every single supplier partner that comes on site to do a service for you is another team member that you have to manage as a property manager, as a property management organization. So your landscaper is an extension of your service team. And if you're not managing landscaping, we all know that the landscaping doesn't get done behind buildings, or shrubs that are kind of out of view or out of sight, out of mind, don't really get the attention that the ones in front of the leasing office or around the front of the buildings get. It's a different level of craftsmanship and workmanship that actually happens if you're not managing the process. So the landscapers, the door-to-door trash system, somebody comes on to do tree trimming. It doesn't matter what the good or the service is. It's an extension of your team, and you have to manage it as such. So the punchline for this is, I don't personally see the value. I get it. It's other income. But just because you can doesn't mean you should. Just because you can bolt on this door-to-door trash service doesn't mean you should do it, because the downside, based on the variables that I just walked through in my head, it's just not worth it. My experience has been, and I've toured hundreds of properties where these door-to-door services are in place, and rough math, I'd say 80% of the time there's something. It doesn't matter. There's something germane to the door-to-door trash service that just isn't tidy. It just isn't worth it, in my opinion. I'm thinking about it from a consumer's perspective, or a prospect coming on site and doing a tour. You can't control the apartment next door to the model or the show unit that might have just set their trash out on the particular day that you're touring. You can't solve for all that stuff. You can control it in large part, but they're just variables that you can't control. Just can't do it. Not worth it, in my opinion. Curious about your thoughts. Take care. We'll talk to you again soon.